helping your kids buy their first home. That's our real estate topic.
Mhm.
And we're just getting warmed up on this. So Dwight and I have both shared stories of helping our kids out and again, how rewarding it was. But Dwight, let's get down to the brass tacks, right? The down payment side of things, right? We can do a gift. We can, come on as a co-borrower, which we'll talk about later, so on and so forth. The bottom line is, do you recommend a parent come to the table attached? In other words, get on the loan, or if I'm going to give them the money, have them sign a promissory note, or just give it to them.
Yeah. So those are two different situations. One is if the child cannot qualify on their own, then you coming on, the funds that you put into it are no longer a gift. It now is just a blended, asset contribution. But if the child does qualify, but they just need some help with the down payment or some closing costs, then the only way you can actually really do it is a gift. And the gift amount, as you know, John, I think you've said it before, is 19,000 this
Yes,
year.
yes, per person.
And that's that's per parent. And then if you are married, they can give it to, so it can get up there, before you're then actually you have to report a taxable transaction, right? So it doesn't mean you're going to have a tax liability. You just have to report it. So, but remember, a gift is a gift, and whatever they do on the back side and the back shop, that's between each other, but it has to be documented and a gift letter signed that there's not really no repayment.
Okay, so let's forget about the
involved in this.
formalities.
Yeah.
Let's talk,
Yeah.
as dads, all three of us are dads.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
talk that way.
Mhm.
Come with strings attached or
Well,
not?
I want, what I would be happy to see, like you said, that he learns how to be responsible. That for me would be enough to say, hey, you know what? I can walk away from this 6,000 or 8,000, whatever I gave you, to help you get jump started. I think if they're not learning their lessons and, they keep crawling back to you for, hey, can you help me make the payment and stuff like that? I think then maybe you start to kind of have some sort of, something in place that would encourage them more responsibility, financial responsibility. Agreed.
Aaron, you're very common sense oriented. When the time comes that one of your kids decide to get a house and you and your wife decide to help them out, are you going to come to the table with strings attached, or are you just going to gift them or give them the money?
Hopefully they're not listening because then they'll know my strat, right? No,
That's right.
I think it's important to come with strings attached in the beginning. And just like we have, respect is earned. The proof that they're going to be compatible with what they say they're going to do and be forthright in paying the payment and taking care of the home and seeing all that, I think would be the caveat to dismiss it later on. But in the beginning, I think that having strings attached, even I have a lot of clients that I tell them, look, do the strings attached, have them make some sort of payment or something, open an account for them, stick that payment in the account for them. So if they are losers and they end up like not making their payments or turn into drugs or some horrified scenario you have built in your mind, you now have enough money to carry the payment so you can sell the property, right? And at the same time, if they are responsible and they're taking care of business, then after they've paid that and you feel like you can eventually surrender that whole ideology over to them and make it their very own, then give it to them as a gift and it'll help pay for their furnace upgrade or, putting on a new roof.
Strategy.
Yeah.